Hi boys and girls, we are going to finish our texture pumpkin today and have some fun making a background for it that is super spooky. So you're going to need a piece of black paper from your construction paper pack that came in your art box. You are going to need your crayons. You're going to also want to have your scissors and your glue. I have pulled out a yellow, green, and white crayon because I'm thinking about making my pumpkin sitting on some grass with a moon and stars in the sky and maybe a spooky ghost. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to keep these things off to the side and find our scissors. So find your scissors. Don't have this under you while you're working. You could cut through your black paper on accident. That's going to be a background later, so let's just leave that there. I've got my scissors and I'm going to start cutting up around my pumpkin, staying on the outline, being very careful to stay close to my pumpkin and not cut into it. You worked really hard on making a good pumpkin, so take your time and cut it out nicely. When you get to the bottom, try to cut right along those outlines of the shapes of your pumpkin. That way your pumpkin will look like it has its real shapes and curves, and you want it to look as real as possible. I mean, even for a texture pumpkin. I know that's silly. So once you have your pumpkin cut out, we'll do the next step. If you need to pause right here, go ahead and do so. And then when you're finished cutting, you can unpause and catch up. So the next thing we're going to do is put our black paper in front of us. You set our pumpkin on there, and you can see it's a pretty tight fit. There isn't a lot of extra room around it, but that's okay. I'm still going to have some fun coloring. I want to show you some neat tricks. Now, on black paper, if you just color yellow on the black or green right on the black, you're not going to see the color really well. So watch this. This is so fun. If you take your white first and you make the ground with some white. Do you see how close I'm holding my crayon with my fingers? I hold it at the tip, and that's so that I don't hold it here and snap the crayon by pressing too hard. And I'm just pressing medium. I'm not pressing that hard. Okay, I put some white down. Now, if I put my green over it, look at how that green just glows. Isn't that cool? I mean, before it looked like there was some snow on the ground, which is fine. You can keep it that way and have snow on the ground. But you could also just do this, and it makes your green highlight really, really well. See how well that turns out and shows up? Now we're going to make a moon up here in the sky. Now, don't forget, your pumpkin takes up a whole lot of room, so you might want to put your moon somewhere on a corner so that it really does show up. I'm going to put my moon up here with my white first and just press regular. I'm not pressing hard because it's with the yellow. I want to come back, and I'm going to press harder, and I'm going to make a really bright yellow moon. Isn't that neat? Did you know crayons could do that? It's pretty cool, isn't it? If I want, I can also put in a couple little stars. I know this is where my pumpkin's gonna be, so not really gonna see too much of it. And I want to have a cute little spooky ghost, so I'm gonna put a ghost right up here. Just a little one. There he is. Just flying around. And my ghost, I'm just gonna leave him all white. There you go, little ghosty. I'm going to go over my stars with yellow. You could even make one kind of orange. If you want to go over one with orange and make it look like Mars, then that would be cool too. You can make a shooting star. You can make some bats. And if you did bats, you might even want to look in your box and see if you could find a gray, because a gray would show up pretty well for some bats. Black on black, not always the case. Once you are done with your coloring and design, you're gonna glue. So if you wanna pause here before we do the glue, then go right ahead. Here is how we are going to glue today. And actually, we're gonna use our Elmer's glue, and we're going to remember how we open it. So we're going to unscrew the top so that it rises above the bottom right here. We're going to listen for air. If you can hear that, that means that it's going to work. If you don't, it might mean you have to just scrape off some of the extra glue at the top. It helps to close it sometimes. You can pick the extra glue off, and then you open it again and listen for the air. Now, here's the trick to gluing, everybody. You can see where I tested my colors. I am going to just put one outline of glue, not close to the edge. Do you see how far from the edge I am of the pumpkin? That's so that when I flip it over and squish it down, glue doesn't come spreading out everywhere outside of my pumpkin. It's okay to put a little up here by the stem, but the trick is to not use a whole lot. Then we're gonna flip that guy over. I'm gonna make sure he's on all sides and parts of my picture. Press it gently. Make sure you press it down. Just flipping it over does not glue it. You actually have to press it in. And there you go. There's your pumpkin picture, everybody. Hang it up and enjoy.